Okay, this clip is also on verbal communication, and we're just going to talk about the power of words in this snippet. Words create perceptions. What do I mean by words create perceptions? It's how we can, I don't want to say emote, but how we can share what we feel is good or bad or honest or trustworthy or, vulgar or, within that realm. And when I say these things, if someone asks you your opinion on a movie or a television show or a book, you say things like, "Oh, it's pretty good. I really enjoy the virtues displayed in," or "Gosh, it was so bad. There was these really crazy vulgar scenes." Not only are you giving a description of your perception of whatever it was asked, the film, the book, the TV series, whatever it may be, but you're also sharing what your perception is of tasteful or vulgar or good or bad or honest or untrustworthy. There we go. We are projecting our own perceptions through the power of words. And it may not, it's not so like dire cut, like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to tell them what I think is good or bad." But by saying, "Oh, it was good, it had this really great excerpt about," goes into a description, or "It was really kind of crazy. It was full of profanity and vulgar." And it was just, by sharing this information, we are sharing what our perception is of different emotions or characteristics. Also, not only do words create perceptions, words can influence thoughts. And it's the same using the good, bad, or, think of words like crazy or wild or vulgar. If someone's going to something brand new and you give a description of something, they're going to have it in the back of their head. "Oh, gosh, they said this was crazy." So they already go in thinking this, and it I don't want to say completely alters, but it's definitely a factor in the thought process. Because words symbolize meaning, but the meaning originates in both the sender and the receiver. So it's not static. So as the conversation evolves, so does the word. So it's kind of a back and forth. And meanings, thoughts behind words can change as we gain new experience and this kind of just, as we gain additional experiences, the thoughts with words can be altered, just as the same as perceptions. From that as well is words influence action. When I say this, words, they talk about powerless and power speeches, or powerless and power conversations or words. What creates powerless phrases and conversation and dynamics is our use of, I call them space fillers, and I think some books say that too, but it's when you hear like, a good example is, think of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Like, every other word he says is like. These are what is creating what the book refers to as powerless conversation and powerless words, because you are creating distance and not strong credibility in your word choice or your phrases or your conversation or speeches, because you have a lot of space fillers. Or perhaps you end the conversation with, "Well, I guess," or "It could be," or "I might." There's no definitive answer. Now, if you want to create more power speech and power words, you have more concrete conversations and words. You are more direct with your words. You end with, "And this is what I think, this is what I know, this is what I say," as opposed to, "Well, I guess it's okay," or "It should be all right," You're creating more of a strong power word, more powerful, I don't want to say facade, but you're creating more power with your choice of words and phrases because you're more concrete and you're not so no. That's what the book says. The next one is words, which we kind of talked a little bit before. Words affect and reflect culture. Now I'm going to talk about a couple different theories under this, so I'm going to be looking at my book to give you the book definition. The book first talks about the linguistic determinism. This theory describes how the use of language determines or influences thoughts and perceptions. Okay. This basically, in essence, shapes the way we think, is our linguistic determinism. Our thoughts also reflect our culture. You know, how were we raised? What were we brought up in? You know, the immediate culture of our family, of maybe our groups we're affiliated with. That's what we're talking about here. The next theory the book touches on is linguistic relativity. This theory is that each language includes some unique features that are not bound to other languages. That's pretty straightforward. Every language is unique. Not only do I mean like globally, just breaking it down, going English, Spanish, French, German, Russian. Even with all of these languages, you break it down even more. Think of the United States alone. We have Northern, we have Midwestern, we have Southern, we have Deep Southern. When I'm talking Deep Southern, I'm talking like Creole, Western or West Coast and East Coast. You know, we all speak English, but we have such a melting pot in our country that and have always had a melting pot in our country. We have different factors that influence our words. You know, in Florida, in the further Florida you go, you know, you get more Cuban communities. So, you know, it's influenced. Up north, you know, the further up north we go, you know, we have words. It's just broke down. And the same thing goes with different European cities, Asian cultures, whatever the case may be, each are broke down with different, you know, different words are bound to their culture. It's unique. Language is unique. It's unique. You know, even in the state of Kentucky, we are unique. Some portions seem to have a thicker Southern, but, you know, you can go more Midwestern and Northern, like you go into Lexington or perhaps Louisville, and the accents aren't maybe particularly as thick as what you would be if you're more in the southeastern quadrant of Kentucky. You know, when you start hitting, I'm trying to think my geography here of our state, like Paintsville and Pikeville and stuff like that. Sometimes you come across a more southern dialect, or even, you know, if you hit Boyd County and Carter County and those, you know, you get when you're closer to West Virginia, you get southern, maybe more southern, you know, it's down per state, down per our region, globally, you know, language is just unique. We have unique phrases and words and dialects particular to each language. It's not just dry cut.